And I just want to say this real quick about BigJXXX. Now, I know better than going down to the bottoms and slumming, because I actually told Toya about that. When you go slumming down at the bottoms, don't be surprised what you come up with. You're going to come up with muck. So that's what I did when I cruised over to BigJXXX and happened to see my name. Just so happened to see my name. Now, normally, the guys that are in this space we call civilians, right? They know enough about politics to get around and kind of talk about it, and sometimes even knowledgeably about it, but they don't know enough to go to the next level. So we call people like that civilians. People like BigJXXX or the regular public, the pedestrians that believe the propaganda Kool-Aid that's been spilled in CNN, MSNBC, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and sometimes the New York Times. And I don't think BigJXXX even reads that much. He basically goes to CNN, maybe MSNBC, and listens to some talking heads that he likes, and he spreads that. So he's a pedestrian. He's no better than my mother. My mother's in her 80s, and she probably knows more about politics than BigJXXX. But that being said, I just want to say this to you, okay, knucklehead. You don't know squat, I do mean squat, about politics. Nationally, domestically, or internationally. You don't know squat about this. And you show your ignorance every time you open your freaking mouth. Like, you have no idea what a fascist is. Well, Pearl's a fascist. You have no idea what a freaking fascist is. Just because she said women shouldn't vote, which is it's not a progressive idea, but the thing is, it's an idea based on her opinion. That doesn't mean that she's a fascist. Pearl is, in every other way, is fairly liberal. In fact, she's very liberal. Pearl is not a traditionalist. Not even close to being a traditionalist. And a fascist, for BigJXXX, if you studied Mussolini, if you studied Hitler, even if you studied Franco in Spain, fascists started off as socialist to authoritarian totalitarianism. In other words, you had to be basically a monarchist, as they call them, a monarchist, which you believe in the king and queen and all that kind of crap, right? Had to have believed in that at some point in your political life. And if you look at all three, what they call fascist country, even fascist Japan had an emperor. If you go back to what fascism is, you had a liberal order that fell and collapsed and had to be rebuilt on something. So basically, it's built on two things: a ordered society, because you have to have an ordered society to begin with, because in a liberal society like France or the UK or some of the other places like Sweden and places like that, where it didn't take place. Norway was a little bit different. Norway kind of teetered on between fascism and liberalism. But if you had liberalism inside your society, and your society was basically liberal, believing in individual rights, you're not going to get fascism. Fascism depends on a ordered society like Germany, like Italy, like Spain, like Japan. It's impossible to get fascism in the United States. Your right-wingers believe in individual rights, okay? They do not believe in a totalitarian state. Even your far-right people with guns and stuff like that will go against it. January 6th, even though they didn't like the vote, those are not totalitarians. Those are individuals. They believe in singular individual rights. That's how come they believe in gun rights. The right to carry, the right to individual states' rights. All that's individualism. Has nothing to do with an ordered society, an ordered top-down society. In fact, most far-right people, like the MAGA people, want a weakened central government. A weakened central government, not a stronger central government, a weakened central government. That's not fascism, sir. So, now we define what fascism actually is, which you're ignorant a little behind. Let me talk about the other stuff that you have no clue about. As far as politics, if you knew anything about politics, especially during this particular election, you would know that they cleared the path for Joe Biden. Joe Biden could not run at all. He couldn't campaign, which is why they tried to prosecute Donald Trump and try to take him out so he could not campaign, because they know if he won, he had enough popularity and Joe Biden could not run against him. That's how come when the law failed to lock him up and the bullet failed to take him out, basically Joe Biden had to go. The internal polls said Joe Biden would have lost by 400 electoral votes. Basically, he would have lost. They gave enough 400 electoral votes to Trump. That's how come he had to step down. And plus, and the donors knew that. That's why the donors didn't want to back Joe Biden, because he was such a terrible candidate. Not to mention all the other negative things he did while he was in office. We won't even talk about that. The Democrats themselves didn't believe in Joe Biden. They definitely didn't believe in Kamala Harris. Even your boy Barack Obama. Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, amongst others, wanted an open convention. But ain't that a kick in the head? Even they know in a compressed campaign that she had to run and her lack of political talent, that the odds of her winning were almost zero. Barack Obama said the exact same thing. Barry's actually right. That's like I put out the video. Barry was probably right. That you had no chance of winning the presidency. All the Democrats knew that you had almost zero chance of winning the presidency. Even though Hillary Clinton and their crew sold the donors and got $1.5 billion out of them to run this little shortened campaign and all this propaganda. And at the end of the day, basically, he slaughtered her. And what happened, instead of putting the money into the down ballot seats, as Barack Obama said, not only lost the presidency, but he also lost both houses of Congress, the House and the Senate. Gone. Barack Obama was right in that sense, because he knew it was impossible for her to win. So you're silly behind complaining was the shoe in the East. We're not even talking about internationally. We're going to leave that alone, because when it comes to international geopolitics, you're an idiot. Yes, I called you an idiot. You're an idiot. You're probably an idiot with domestic politics too, but I'm going to give you a little grace since you live here. You have no clue what the hell that you're talking about. I don't know why you're even trying to talk to me about politics. You got no clue. Don't even know what you're talking about. You have no clue why Donald Trump is actually putting the people in places the way that he is, his nominees, even though they may or may not get confirmed. What do we get out of Donald Trump? Number one, you get the knucklehead out of office that's doing all this damage. Number two, hopefully, we can't say that he will slow this freaking runaway inflation down. Number three, hopefully he can get BlackRock and a few other of these funds out of buying houses and return the houses back onto the market to regular people. For that, now that you can talk to him, the regular people can actually talk to him, he can be swayed. You might get a building campaign to actually build more affordable housing. Number three, getting some, I'm not saying all, because they're all not going to go. I don't care what Donald Trump says, you can't get rid of them all. Okay, and they're not going to, because the Republicans and the Democrats need them for low cost work. I can get rid of them all. But if you get rid of half of them, that releases housing to the average Joe. That reduces the cost and increases the stock of housing, so that costs can come down. Number four, he can relieve the pressure on the dollar that the sanctions cause. If he does that, maybe he can get the supply chain back working again to where we can actually lower some of these costs inside the United States. Maybe. We don't know, because he's not in office yet. I have no clue what Donald Trump is going to do. When the Joker gets in office, you can't tell what the Joker will do. But we sure as hell knew what Kamala Harris would do if she got in office. And everybody, nationally and internationally, was afraid of what Kamala Harris would do if she got in office. As weak a personality as she is. Now, I gave you a whole bunch of reasons why people voted for Donald Trump. Now, I didn't vote for Donald Trump because I'm a third party guy. The only time I voted for the Democrats in about 40 years is because I voted for Barack Obama twice because he was black. And I wanted a black president. Because I knew his personality and what he was going to do was not going to derail the country. It wasn't going to be a danger. In fact, he did some good. In fact, he did a lot of good. He got a lot of black men out of prison. He changed the child support laws where you couldn't willy-nilly put guys in jail for non-payment of child support. He did a lot. There's some good things that he did for men and black men. So I can't say it was all bad. He tried to do it with my brother's keeper, and the black woman blocked that crap. But, it is what it is. Sometimes, the thing is, if you want to talk to me about politics, man, you're going to have to prove that you actually know something about it. I told people 2 years ago that Biden couldn't run. And I told two people 2 years ago if they couldn't put Trump in jail or take him out in some kind of way, that Biden and the Democrats were going to lose the White House. And they didn't have COVID around to actually knock Donald Trump out of office, because if it wasn't for COVID, Biden would have never gotten office. Not even close. But I can tell you the only one that I missed because I didn't like the dude was year 2000, with George Bush. Didn't like the dude. It came down to a Florida vote, and George Bush actually won. Okay? Since then, who was going to be president? So that's been about, 25 years? I'm pretty good at this. Donald Trump. What the black manosphere gets out of Donald Trump, because that was the question. The black manosphere gets out of the whole election, doesn't matter who won, is that the black manosphere was heard. They mentioned us by name. So basically, we have become a political force to be reckoned with. And that's what we wanted, no matter who won. Whether Kamala Harris won or Donald Trump won, it didn't matter to us, because either way we won. Kamala Harris, because now you need help, because you see what's coming. And with the Biden administration and stuff they did, you can't stop what's coming. It's going to come. It's going to get worse. And black women have to figure out what they're getting ready to do. Either they're gonna keep down this path and start sleeping in their cars and take the L, or they're gonna get right. And I'm telling the brothers, don't take them back. Don't take them back, man. Choose a woman that's better suited toward you. Forget all that. Forget all that loyalty that they didn't show you. Because for 30 years, they were giving you their rear end to kiss. And they're sending you to jail for child support, amongst other things. So why should you show them loyal individual person to actually determine? If you want a black woman that bad, by all means, go get her and take your chances. XXX. It's not that hard. It's real simple. I could get more complex into why I didn't like the Biden-Harris administration. I could go down to, in detail, why I didn't like them. Sometimes down to the fine print. But I know all that would do is confuse you, because you're a simple guy. Start having you scratch your head and get confused. And then you're going to do what you always do, take the information and screw it up. But that's who you are. I've been around you for 10 years, and sometimes I've doubted your ability to actually screw things up, but I no longer have those doubts. So when you screw things up, I just nod my head. That makes sense. Anyhow, that's all I got for this one. BGXXX, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.